Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Zoe,
I'm Mark.
and we are the Board Adventurers. So today we're going to be doing another fresh off the shelf review. This time we're going to be reviewing the two-player card battler game, Wizard's Cup. This is published by Pandasaurus Game and designed by Seiji Kanai. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. I want to give a shout out to Pandasaurus Games for providing us a review copy of the game. I appreciate you guys. So now I'm going to go into the arc of the game. So Wizard's Cup is a two-player battler game. Each player is going to get a deck of cards. One is going to be the white deck. The other one is going to be the black deck. The cards themselves are going to be identical outside of the back of the card, which is going to be white or black. So you're going to shuffle your deck, and then you're going to fan out your cards after you shuffle it in front of your opponent. They're going to choose one of those cards randomly and put it face up in front of you. And then you're going to choose 5 additional cards of your choosing from your deck on top of the one card that was chosen from your opponent, and you're going to have a deck. You're going to have 6 cards. Now you need to make a deck of 5 cards. You're going to take one card, put it to the side, face down. That card is going to be in your waiting area. Now you have a deck of 5 cards, and you arrange those cards based off of when you want to play them in the battle. Your opponent is going to do the same thing. Once that's done, you are ready to start the duel. So to start the duel, you and your opponent at the same time are going to flip the top card of your deck, and those cards are going to battle each other. The winner of that battle is determined a number of ways. The first way that the battle is determined, who the winner is based off of magic power. So there's going to be text at the bottom of the card that gives the card a specific ability. If that ability allows that card to win that round, that card is the winner. There are 3 types of ability. There are dormant ability, permanent abilities, and there are going to be automatic abilities. But that'll be kind of known based off of the iconography and just off of the text itself. So if there's no winner based off the magic power, then you're going to go off of the element. On the back of your player aid, you're going to see a little diagram here that's going to show what element beats what other element. As well as on your card as well, you'll notice that on the bottom left corner, it's going to show what element that specific card is weak against. So if you're going to check to see if you win based off of the elements. If there's still no winner based off of the elements, then you're going to go off of suit value. So if you have a higher suit value, then you win the game. If, for instance, there is still no winner of that round or of that duel, there's going to be no winner. Then both of you discard your card that was in the duel. If there is a winner, the losing card is discarded from that duel. The winner stays out on the board. The loser draws the next card from the top of their deck, and it's going to continue so on and so forth until one of the players run out of their 5-card deck. The person that still has cards out on the field is the winner of that round. They're going to take this little trophy here, signifying that they've won a round, and then you're going to get ready for the second round. In the second round, you can discard one of the cards, one of the 6 cards that you've been utilizing for your deck, and replace it with another card from the main deck. But you can only do that from one card. So you're going to do the same thing you've done from the beginning round, in which you choose one card to go into your waiting area, which may or may not be included in that round. And then you're going to set up your deck again, your deck of 5, and you're going to continue to duel again. The first player to win 2 rounds is the winner of that game. There are some specific rules I didn't go over, how to take out waiting area cards and dormant and permanent abilities. But from a base play, that is how you play Wizard's Cup. What do you think of the game?
Wizards Cup is a pretty simple game. You can get through a game of this in maybe like 10 to 15 minutes flat. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we've played multiple iterations of this game where we were able to get through one round in about 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Second round is about another 5 to
Yeah.
7, right?
Yeah.
And like the amount of cards you really choose from are there's not that many in
Yeah.
here. There's like maybe 20 or so. Yeah, maybe like 18. And then they do have like varying amounts of different types.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I find curious though on this is that of the different like grass, water, and fire, they only give you two types, two cards of that type.
Mm.
And that's where it kind of concerns me because one of the cards for each of the types is that if they're in the discard, they power up the element that's if your wizard is out there.
Mm-hmm.
But that power will, if it gets covered by another card that loses by discard,
Yeah.
that effect goes away.
Yeah.
So that would really mean that you need to stack your types one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain cards in this deck that are, to me, very overpowered. There is something called It's a witch, I believe. It's
Yeah.
like the dark witch, like the grave digger.
Yeah.
She can basically eliminate 3 types off of her effect alone.
Yeah.
And that is 6 cards in the deck. So if you see that card and you're trying to build out maybe like water, that immediately eliminates 2 of your cards from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes right to the next one.
Yeah.
And the way this game is played is very, I guess you could say if you played War, the typical game where you just flip a card and then see the effect as it comes out. I guess one of my also concerns is that there's not a lot of mitigation in this because so the only thing you'll see is that your opponent has 1 card.
Mm-hmm.
That card could be anywhere in the deck or anywhere out onto the like your waiting area.
Mm-hmm.
That might not even be played. So I'm building my deck knowing only 1 card from my opponent. Mm-hmm. So I might try to build completely around that 1 card and then have that card not even show up.
Yeah.
I think to me, I have some issues with this game. What do you think?
Yeah. I will start off with what I do like about this game. One, I do like the art style of this game. The cards are very pretty. I do like that. And I do like the element idea of it. The cards are very striking because of it, the element idea of it. And I do like the fact that this is a 2-player deck builder. That they trying to figure out a way to do a quick, speedy, dueling deck builder game. And I do like the fanning out and having your opponent pick a card and then you build out a deck. Because you can, like, if your opponent picks out a certain card, you can build a deck out specifically around that card. Or you can't. Or you don't have to, because then you can put it all, like you mentioned before, you can put it in your waiting area and just ignore that card altogether.
Right.
But my cons for the game are very similar to what you said, in that your opponent can build out a deck that just naturally built out to beat your deck at every turn. And there's not much mitigation to that once you're already in the midst of battle. There is that aspect at the second round where you can like take out a card and put in a card, but sometimes that's not enough because you don't know. There's no way of knowing when your opponent is going to play specific cards. So you could put in a card in your deck that's to mitigate what your opponent can do, but completely mistime it, and then the opponent still just trash you.
Yeah.
The playthroughs that we've had of this game is the winner is the person obviously who builds out the best deck, but once you know, realize that from the first round. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think we've ever had a game where the rounds were split. One person wins one person wins the other.
Yeah, it was kind of clear. And that one mitigation didn't really help the loser kind of shift their cards out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think there was one game where I had built out a lot of elementals. And you had the Gravedigger that immediately killed every single one.
Yeah.
So I had to shift mine into getting one of those like colorless ones,
Yeah.
which don't have a weakness at all.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, I got one of those that would try to eliminate it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know when that Gravedigger shows up.
Yeah.
So when I was assuming it early, I lost the card and then immediately lost the round.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of those. It's like you're trying to program a win without knowing kind of the condition of how you would win.
Yeah. And another thing too that I find a very peculiar rule set was the waiting area aspect of the
Mm-hmm.
game. And I had to read the rule book a couple times to be like, am I missing something here? The waiting area is like the card is just like away from the game. And there's only one card in the deck at all that'll even bring it into play.
The detective.
The
Yeah.
detective.
So you need to have not only just the waiting card, but you need the detective in your deck to possibly bring that out.
Yeah.
And the idea that the waiting area was only created around one card kind of confuses me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think should be other cards at least added in that can give you more variability with your waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or yeah, I don't know how you would improve the waiting area idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But like maybe make it like not a waiting area, but like a card that you don't use, but let you like have a deck of 6, maybe have a waiting area of 3. Then you could shift things in and out based on the cards that you're playing out. You could like, okay, I don't like this effect. I'm gonna shift out to my waiting area.
Yeah.
Like give it a little bit more I don't know, flexibility, I would say.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's like all in all, the waiting area, how it works in the game now, it doesn't add anything to the game. It actually adds more confusion than it does enjoyment, having the waiting area card out.
Yeah, because if you don't have that detective, you're not doing anything with your waiting area.
Yeah.
It's just an enticement for your opponent to play the card that lets them discard the waiting area.
Yeah, and then when it does come out, it's kind of like, oh, I wasn't gonna play it anyway. So what does that? Yeah, it's a weird inclusion in the game.
Yeah, I will say though, now that we've kind of talked about it right now, is that I can see someone, a couple playing this, in an airport somewhere.
Yeah,
they find a small table. They're like, this doesn't take much table space. It's a very simple game to set up with just like. You could do this by like maybe a foot-by-foot table, even as small as that, if they wanted to.
Yeah, I would say if you like deck building games, this is definitely a game worth trying. I think it's interesting enough. It's interesting enough in terms of how you're building out the deck, and it's a 2-player battle, and it's a tiny deck, and you can't control when things come out.
Yeah,
it's interesting ideas definitely in it that's worth trying. I don't know if it fully works for me, but in terms of a review score, where does this land for you?
I'll be honest. I did not enjoy this game. I think it's too situational what you have with the cards, and it feels very luck based, and it's just war. It's like deck building war, and but you don't know what you're going against.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'm coming in at a 2. This 2 out of 5.
Gotcha.
I think there needs to be more cards available for this. I think the waiting area needs to be improved. There should be, in my opinion, more elements than just 2 per element. But I think if you're looking for just that simple game, maybe just to eat up time, say like an airport, or you're waiting maybe for, like you're sitting outside a con. Yeah. You're like, oh, I have this small game. We could play it right here. Let's take it out. That might fit your wheelhouse, but for me, it definitely didn't hit. That's why it's a 2.
Yeah, I'm similar. I've been going back and forth between a 1.5 and a 2, and I think talking through this with you, I'm on a 2, mainly because I see the potential in this game. If there's like a second edition version of this game that clean up some of the rule aspect of it, mainly like the waiting card area of this, and how to mitigate if opponent just naturally builds out a deck that just trounces your deck, which happens pretty often in this. And I think this can be a much more interesting deck building 2-player game.
Yeah, and it feels like the theme of just elemental kind of just felt like a paste on, like it's like this, it's like a rock, paper, scissors type of thing. We have to add the elemental to give it theme into there. And like, that's not to go against the game, but it's just we just wish that there was more of it in these decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely, if there's a second edition version of this, or they add an expansion that tries changes the rules a little bit, I'd give this another try to see what this lands
If it's
at.
any elemental game, I'll give it a try.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that is our fresh off the shelf review of Wizards Cup. Let us know your thoughts down below. I'm Zoe.
I'm Mark.
I'll see you on the next adventure.